Hej og velkommen. Det her det er altså del 2 af vores Battlefield-snak med den kære Karl Morgnøs fra DICE. Så har du ikke set den første, hvor han blandt andet snakker om deres nye ansigtsanimering, der bliver mega sej. Gå lige tilbage og se del 1, det er det del 2. Og i den her del, der får I blandt andet svar på nogle af jeres brugerspørgsmål.
Bonds between soldiers can be shown in a lot of different ways. We've had other FPS titles doing it in a very American, very tacky way, in my opinion.
Yep.
Will we, in Battlefield 4, maybe see a darker side of the soldier, or how will it play out?
Well, I mean, at DICE we've always had a specific idea of what Battlefield is and what it actually depicts. Is it a war game? Yes, it is. But is it a realistic war game? No, absolutely not. Fun over realism, we have always said. That's one of the credos of what we have going on in the studio. And actually, realism isn't something we strive towards at all. We can use the word authenticity, but that's a different thing. That means that something is much more believable, that we want to paint a picture that you know, when you jumped into the tank, for instance, in the single player mission in BF3, for instance, you know, this is how if this feels authentic. Did it look exactly that it looks inside of an Abrams tank? No, probably not. But it felt very authentic, so that's what we're getting at. And that's more important to us than, you know, trying to depict a real conflict or, you know, something real, you know, something that is completely based in reality. You know, we create a fantasy, a fiction. That's what we're building, and we're focusing on the story that we want to tell inside of this fiction.
We also saw a presentation about the Frostbite 3 engine, and this engine gets a lot of hype. Like normally engines doesn't get a lot of hype, but this one does. And it seems as if the entire environment, you want to take that to new levels, and the destruction, but as we heard earlier, you want to do the destructions, but do them in the good way. So what is to you and your team a good way of doing destruction? Moving on from here.
We have learned a lot over the years when it comes to destruction, and some people expect that every single piece should be able to be destroyed, but we know that that's not the right way of doing it. It needs to be whatever you expect to be able to affect. That's what you should be able to destroy in whatever way.
How do you choose to stay in a somewhat near future environment and not maybe go further out in time or back?
Well, as you know, I mean, Battlefield as a franchise has been all over the place before, sci-fi, World War II, etc., etc. I mean, the reason we're still staying in modern is because we believe that we still have a lot of stories that we want to keep telling in this environment. We have new characters coming in. We also will have some returning ones. I don't know if you noticed that, but the pilot in the demo is actually Hawkins. She's a returning character from BF3, even though she dies quite quickly. But the point is that we're still in the same universe because we feel that we have so much more here that we want to utilize, so much more stories that we want to tell in a different way to some degrees, but also in a much more dramatic and believable way.
This question is from Lars Bendiksen. You didn't bring back the commander role in Battlefield 3. Will you be changing that for Battlefield 4? Please, pretty please.
Lars, you have to wait and see. I can't comment on that right now.
Cool. Diego Flores would like to know, and that was something we saw at the presentation. Not this presentation, but the snippet that was around online, like a screw from a ship or a submarine. And of course, Diego Flores wants to know, will there be any kind of naval combat in the game?
Well, we have mentioned that today, that we are putting some extra focus on amphibious assaults, as we call it. So there will be new kinds of boats and other kind of water vehicles available, yes.
Det var, hvad den kære Karl Magnus fra DICE-studiet havde at sige angående Battlefield 4. Det var lidt af jeres spørgsmål, lidt af vores. Jeg håber, I synes om det. Skriv hernede under, hvad I synes om Battlefield 4. En lang demosekvens ligger jo allerede online og kan ses, og det var altså den, vi så en indtale. Jeg glæder mig til at sidde og nørde den igennem og virkelig få den set. Skriv, hvad I synes om den og om Battlefield 4 indtil nu. Skriv, hvad I er glade til. Skriv, hvad I ikke glade til.